Hello, Sandman Nation. Selection Sunday is past us. We all have our brackets to fill out, and we are readying for the four best consecutive days in all of sports. Oh, and it's St. Patrick's Day. So let's all be sure to wish Pat, even though he couldn't join us today, and all of his ancestors a very happy day. Guys, life is pretty freaking good, and it's about to get even better because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. With us today is the super reliable, super awesome sub, Mr. Mike Pason. Sir, 2 appearances in 3 weeks. What did we do to deserve this?
I don't know. Ratings must have been dropping, so you brought me in.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to spike now. Well, welcome back. How you doing today, man?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, doing great. Very excited. One of the best weeks of the year for sure. And of course, the Sandman is with us too. Hello, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Are you ready for the week of basketball action upon us?
Think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
I
getting
think
there?
so. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
It's like always every year it's the same thing with March Madness. I feel like it's like the most exciting week, and then it is the most draining, hard week of anything we do at Sandman Sports.
Yeah, it
So
is. It's a very busy week.
yeah, but I love it. Can't wait.
So, guys, we're not even to random questions of the day yet, but I already have 2 questions for you. Okay, so I mentioned St. Patrick's Day, so I have to ask: is this a day you go all out on? Will you be at the pub drinking green beer by the time this pod ends, or are you more of like just a passive participant in this holiday? Yeah, either one. Yeah.
I didn't even know it was St. Patrick's Day till you just said it.
Okay, that's my
I'll
answer.
be my usually happy self, just
There you go. All
ignoring the
right.
world. Yeah.
So you'll be drunk at the pub by the end of the pod anyway, just
Right.
because it's a Tuesday.
Just another day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What
Yeah,
about you, Bill?
no, not for me. I mean, I probably have a little Irish somewhere in there in the Mutt Sanders European descent side, but yeah, I don't follow it at all, and I'll usually wear green because we used to do you get a pinch if
Yeah.
if you don't have something green. But that being said, I'm kind of like Mike. I didn't even think about it this morning, so I'm not sure. I don't. I'll have to
I,
put something green on.
I'm representing.
I saw that.
And it's
Yep.
Sandman. And it's
Right.
Sandman.
Yeah,
So
I
there you
know.
go.
Good work.
Yeah. I do have some Irish friends, and I've got a few that really take this seriously. Like they're at the bar right now. They are enjoying this day. But I am not Irish. I am German. And frankly, I always feel a little inferior because I'm like, what the heck? The Irish have this big holiday everyone celebrates and gets drunk around. And I got to tell you, I was jealous for a while. But then I realized us Germans, we freaking invented Oktoberfest, which is basically weeks of getting hammered with good beer and gorging on tons of great food. So I've come to grips with it. I can celebrate happily now on March 17th along with my Irish brothers. So, to all of those celebrating today, happy St. Patrick's Day. All right. Well, guys, we have lots of fun stuff to talk about. So, let's get right into it because it is time for today's random questions of the day.
It is time for the random questions of the day.
Mike, it is your turn to go first, buddy. Hope you're
All right.
ready. All right, here we go. I don't think this one's too tough. All right. If you were a professional wrestler, what would your stage name be? And can I just say, I would pay good money to see Mike Pason in the ring as a professional wrestler. Good money. So we'll give you a minute to think about it. You don't have to answer right now, but professional wrestler, what would your stage name be? Okay. Bill, are you ready, sir?
I am ready. Bring it.
Okay. All right. If you could, and this is sports related today, timely. If you could never watch one of these things again, which would you choose? March Madness or the NFL playoffs?
Why do you got to do this? Why do you got to do this? Gosh, that is so tough. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
I just love college sports, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of where my heart usually goes. And while my Huskies are never participating in this great tournament, that Thursday, Friday, I feel like it's just two of the best
It's
sports days of the
it's
year.
the best. It's yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That is a tough question. I think it's
That's
between
tough.
those 2, though. I don't think there's really a third. I mean, yeah, you could say college football playoffs or something. Now, if you're talking season, like a full season, it'd be very hard for me to give up college football,
Well,
but, you
but
know.
can you even imagine if the Eagles or the Bengals or the Seahawks
Yeah,
are playing in the playoffs and you can't watch it? I mean, that
yeah,
would be excruciating. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's a tough one.
yeah.
Paston,
Well, and
what would
I
you have said to that one?
yeah, yeah,
The NCAA tournament is supreme to everything.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
I just hope they don't
Yeah,
screw it up.
well, you know,
They will.
yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't hold your breath. I feel
Yeah.
like
Oh,
those powers that be in the world of sports always seem to find a way.
they're gonna
All
find.
right, Mr. Paston, what's your professional wrestling name?
The only thing I can think of, because it would be so disappointing to the audience, my name would be No Refunds. Just laying it out there as they introduce me in the ring. It just that way they throw less bottles
Y
at me and less
the
That's
chairs at me.
brilliant.
I
That
mean,
is
you're really setting the bar low with that. I
Oh,
kinda
big
I
time.
see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I
The
like it.
expectations, no refunds. You're in.
that's me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, the
hearing Mike introduced and then having him
as
come out as no refunds, that would be it's fantastic.
I mean, I'll get less hurt that way by the people throwing things, but they have to root
Uh,
for me so the match survives a minute or two.
that's
You know,
hilarious.
like I
What
said, I will pay good money for that. So you tell me when no refunds is on the card
on
there,
the
and I
card.
will be the first in line.
You got it.
love
I'll
that.
arrange it. Yep. Maybe against Pat. That could be good.
Cage match.
That would be phenomenal. Well, boys, as I mention every week, we are really proud of the sports content we put out every day at samiansports.com. And this week, as you can imagine, it is wall to wall coverage of March Madness with everything you need to help with your brackets and get ready for all the action. But today, we also have some really exciting news that you may have already seen if you've been on the site recently. As you guys know, Samian Sports is much more than just content. We're also building a fantasy gaming platform and a full pools and contest hosting service. While we continue working through the licensing process in various states so we can offer our fantasy contests directly to the public, we've officially launched the commissioner hosting side of the platform. And what that means is this: you can now host all of your March Madness pools with us. If you run a bracket pool for friends, family, coworkers, golf trips, whatever it may be, you can now run it through Sandman. And going forward, it won't just be March Madness either. You'll be able to host contests for football, golf, basketball, baseball, NASCAR, and more as we continue expanding. The new platform lives at play.cmansports.com. That site will house both our hosted pools for commissioners and eventually our fully licensed fantasy contests as those approvals come through. And of course, you can always access it directly through cmansports.com as well. We're really proud of the work that's gone into this. I want to give a big shout out to Craig Phelan, our tech guru here at Sandman, who's put an incredible amount of work into bringing this platform to life. And also a huge thank you to our development partner, Lighterworks, because none of this would have been possible without them. So check it out, spread the word. And one more thing that's really important. We know we're still in the early stages of launching this platform and we're learning a lot as we go. So please give us your feedback, good or bad. That's how we're going to keep improving the site and the overall user experience as we grow. Bill, anything you want to add to all that?
You nailed it, buddy. Just such a proud week for us. The amount of work that has gone into this, not just from Eric and Craig and myself, but as Eric mentioned, Lighterworks, the developer, and just so many more behind the scenes, our designer. There's so many people, and that list is growing because we're just keep adding people into the mix. Honestly, our council too. I mean,
Yeah, legal.
they've
Yeah.
they've done a
We spent
great
a lot of
job.
time with our legal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with our legal counsel. So just thanks to everybody, to Sandman Nation, all you guys that have supported us. We really appreciate you guys and look forward to continuing to grow this platform so that all of you guys can enjoy it.
Congratulations to you guys. Good work.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Mike.
Yeah,
Thank
you're the
you.
#1 seed in sports platform
Thank you.
bracket. Good job.
Appreciate it, buddy. Very
Appreciate
exciting
that, Mike.
stuff.
You've been a big part of this through the years too. So
You have. You
thanks
really
to
have,
you
man.
and so many others. Yeah, I actually found myself getting a little emotional there, Eric.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, it's just
It's a big
super
day.
cool. So
Big
yeah,
week for all
really
of us.
cool.
So, but lots more to continue. Like I said, we've got a lot to improve on, a lot to learn. This is a little baby step, and we would love to hear your guys' feedback, both good and bad, as we continue to make this the best platform out there for you, the user. All right, before we get started, just so everyone knows, this is a little bit different of a podcast. Normally, we have quite a few segments that we go through, including hot takes and stone cold locks and our top 5. This week is going to be all about the tournament. We're just going to get right into it. We're going to go region by region, cover the bracket, cover all the games. We got lots of questions to get through, and it's going to take a decent amount of time. So that's going to be our show today. Let's get into it. First, I want to start with just a general question here, guys, to get us started. What were your overall general reactions from Selection Sunday? Did you feel like there were any big surprises, snubs, any interesting seating decisions from the committee, or overall were you pretty good with it, Mike?
Very little controversy this year,
Yeah.
which is great. I think we got what we expected. I don't know if you saw on ESPN when they went back to the breakdown, Bruce Pearl looked very uncomfortable when they were talking about Auburn and his son's team and just missing out by basically one shot at in a game. Miami, Ohio, that was sort of the mystery, what was going to happen to them. I think they did it right. They gave them the playing game pretty much at home, but their chance to show us if they're for real or not. As I was telling Eric before we started, I'm going to the games Friday and Sunday here in Philly. A little disappointed in the matchups we got. But when you look through them, there aren't that many real exciting first round games.
Yeah.
You still have to let it sort itself out. As for misplacements or whatever, the only two I might be worth a discussion. BYU and Kansas, I think, are a little high. BYU is a 6, Kansas is a 4. Maybe mid-season, those were the right spots, but they could probably each move down a spot or two. Kansas, just because it's history, probably gets the benefit of the doubt, but they're not playing very well at all. And BYU, they sometimes get misplaced more than any other team because they have that Thursday, Saturday.
They have that. They have to. Yeah, they cannot play
They can't
Sundays.
play Sunday, but I saw that Baptist team is playing Sunday, so I don't know. We may have to reassess this whole thing. But other than that, pretty right on by the committee. I didn't see that commissioner sweating at all, the guy in charge of the committee.
No.
Yeah,
he was really good.
He was really good.
He was
I like
one of
that
the
guy.
most. He might be the most impressive I've heard of all those commissioners.
I agree.
In the past, they look
football
nervous.
and basketball. Yeah,
and they start asking those questions. They start sweating.
He was very confident.
Very smooth. Yeah, he's very good.
He's going places. If that guy's the commissioner of the ASUN, holy crap!
Yeah,
he was very impressive.
I'll tell you something else. For years, about 75% of the time, Kansas is placed in the last time slot on Friday, and it happened again. And we used to notice this when we went to Vegas. The Kansas group would have to wait till the last game, and it's been a consistent thing literally for 30 years, where almost every year they have a last time slot of the last second day. Very strange, and I can't figure out why. I don't know.
That's weird, Mike.
This year, 9:45 Friday. They'll tip it off. It's a phenomenon that I don't know if anyone else in the world has noticed. That made me
never noticed it.
Yeah, and it happened again. So I don't know what that's all about.
Now I'm gonna have to.
I'll tell you,
watching that every year.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another phenomenon. My UW Huskies not in the tournament every year. It's just God, it just hurts. And this year was one where we actually all felt as fans that they had a chance, and then just decimated by injuries. Just absolutely brutal. But
are they in any postseason? Are they in the NIT
so they would have made the NIT, is at least what I heard. But the Huskies only had 7 scholarship players healthy at the end of the year, and so they just couldn't even field a roster. If they had come back and beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament and had to play Illinois the next day, there was a thought that they would not have enough players to play in the game.
Yeah.
So that was just like, anyway, it would have been interesting to see what they would have done. It would have been like Hoosiers, right? He would have, my team's on
Right.
the four
Yeah.
guys.
U4. That would be something to see. What
Yeah.
about you, Bill? Any
Yeah.
surprises or any
Yeah.
reactions?
Sorry. Husky diversion. It's like what I do all the time. I thought Mike did a great job of hitting it. That I was trying to kind of come up with something, I felt like here. And the one thing that I did think, and I am no Rick Pitino fan by any stretch, but I thought St. John's as a 5 seemed low. Um,
Mm,
I just the way that they performed in the Big East tournament, the way that they've been playing, obviously they have some cachet with Patino, and I guess if you go back, obviously they've got a little bit more history in the program as well, and been better of late, of course, with Rick being there. Also, too, I guess one thing that stood out to me was it always seems like every year there's a 10 seed or thereabouts that ends up getting like a de facto home game, and this year it's Missouri. And I just don't understand how they can let that happen. How do you
yeah,
let a
that's
10
odd. A
seed
10 seed.
play in St.
Yeah.
Louis if you're Missouri? Like, why? They don't deserve to be there. They
Yeah.
barely made the tournament.
I
So
mean, they used to not be, but they've tried to really get as many teams to as close as possible to the places they're going, just to save money and costs and get more fans interested and all that. So I get it, but
could you have not put Central Florida as a 10 seed in the East in St. Louis and then put Missouri in the East to play in a different thing? I
yeah,
mean, I don't know.
yeah.
It just feels, and
No, I
I'm
get it.
splitting
I get
hairs.
it.
I'm splitting
Yeah,
hairs, but
yeah.
I thought that was just that always feels strange to me. And I think, Mike, I know you're kind of joking about Cal Baptist, but I think they would have played any day, anytime. Their first tournament appearance ever, I thought was kind of cool. But Mike also hit on some things that I think we'll cover here in a minute when we kind of dive into the bracket, that I agreed with him 100%. So,
Yeah, me
Eric,
too. Me
Eric,
too.
what did you see?
Yeah, so no real surprises to me. I am just elated that Auburn didn't get in though. Guys, they were 17 and 16, which would have made them the first team with that many losses to be awarded an at-large bid. And they were one game above 500. One game, 17 and 16.
Yeah, like
They
the
also went they also went 7 and 11 in the SEC. And yes, I kept hearing about how they played 17 quad one games. Yeah, they went 4 and 13 in those games. Wow, really impressive, Tigers. And Bruce Pearl might give Gus Johnson a run for his money. He's the most annoying TV personality in all of sports these days. Good riddance to Bruce. Good riddance to his son Steven. Stop your freaking yapping. Your team wasn't that good. Shouldn't have gotten in. Now, for my Miami Redhawks, I was happy they got in, of course, but I was a little disappointed. They have to go to Dayton first. But at least, and Mike, you kind of said this, they they are going to have a lot of fans there. I mean, it's already basically sold out from the Miami contingent, like the tickets that Miami was given. They were sold out in hours. Tickets are really expensive. I thought about going on Wednesday night. It's just I'm not spending hundreds of dollars to go, but I am very interested to see how they fare against what I think is a good, but certainly not a great SMU team. So it's a good challenge. SMU is favored, I think, by 6.5 points, what I saw. So, guys, listen to this tidbit, though, from Dan Angel, one of our college hoops writers at CMAN. Since the first four was introduced in 2011, the winner of the Wednesday night playing games has had a really strong showing in the first round. In 11 of the past 13 tournaments, at least one first four winner has advanced, and 10 of those involve the team that played on Wednesday night. And usually that comes from the second game of the Wednesday slate, which guess what, guys? That's the Miami SMU game. So hopefully Miami wins, but either way, Brooks Tennessee Vols might need to be on high alert because they will be the one facing the winner of that game on Friday. But yeah, overall, no real surprises or heartburn with the selection committee. I do like that this is the first year where teams must provide an official injury report heading in the tournament, which for a better is just gold, and I think is going to certainly help with picks as we
Let me let
progress
me
through the
ask you
tournament.
let me ask you a question. If Miami, Ohio played Auburn, who would win?
Miami is a good team, guys. I know they've beaten every team that they've played, and I know I know they lost to UMass, and I know that the last 4 or 5 games, they didn't cover, and some of those games came down to the end. I think a lot of that was pressure. I really do. I think they were they buckled under pressure. Now that monkey's off their back. They're not undefeated. They got the undefeated regular season. They got nothing to lose. They're gonna be playing an hour from home. I like them in that game, and I think I really think they could make some noise against Tennessee. That's it. They're not going any further than beating Tennessee, even if they do that. They're not a great team, but I think they beat Auburn. I do not think Auburn.
I love Bruce Pearl, by the way.
Me too.
Oh,
one of my favorites.
Oh my God!
I love
He
Bruce.
is
I
as
also love
crooked
Gus
as the
Jackson.
day is
Gus
long. That
Johnson.
guy is freaking terrible.
Bierman hates Gus Johnson as well. So, I don't know how much we can give credence to Eric's takes on announcers, but
hold on. I need to figure how do you mute somebody's button?
That was a little shout out for Pat. That was a little shout out for Pat, as it's St. Patty's Day and he loves Gus.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's now get into each region. We'll break each one down. We will start with the East here, and I've got several questions that we'll go through. We'll go with which top 3 seed in that region is most likely to get knocked out before the Sweet 16. So not necessarily first round, but just before Sweet 16. Which low seed, number 13 seed or higher, has the best chance to pull off an upset? What do you think is the most interesting first round matchup? What's your best first round bet in that region? And which team do you ultimately see coming out of that region and reaching the Final Four? So let's start with the East, where the top 3 seeds are Duke, UConn, and Michigan State. Mike, let's start with you. Which top 3 seed in that region is most likely to get knocked out before the Sweet 16? Any?
They're all real solid. I'm going to shake it up, and I think it might be Duke with their injuries. Wow. If those 2 guys are still out, I mean, one's definitely out, and if the other one's still out, I don't know. I don't know. I think they could get to the Sweet 16, but I'm real high on St. John's, and they might run into trouble there. So Michigan State's always good in the tournament. Izzo always peaks at the right time, and UConn just rolls along. And I don't see the winner of UCLA Central Florida beating them at all. So the answer is really none. But if I have to pick one, I'll say Duke.
All right. What about you, Bill?
Yeah, no shade at Paxton on his first pick of the tournament, but Duke's not losing before the first few rounds. So, and this one's tough. I mean, I went with Sparty, and I love Tom Izzo, but the reason I did is just because I just feel like they have the toughest second round matchup. If we just assume that they're going to get by North Dakota State, they're going to play Louisville or South Florida. And I think from what I've seen, I actually kind of like South Florida in that game. That might be a little crazy, but an 11 seed there. Eric's a Michigan guy, and I know Sparty's the natural rival, but I just love Tom Izzo more than any college basketball coach. And so I'm always going to my heart is going to outweigh my head on any Sparty March Madness stuff. I don't see them losing either, but I put them in there. I don't see UConn losing either. I don't know about you guys, but this one's tough. Bierman, what do you have?
Yeah, so guys, I know this sounds crazy. I'm a little contrary to you. I actually think all 3 of these teams could be knocked out before the Sweet 16. I'll just tell you right now, and I will tell you right now, none of those 3 are making the Final Four. This is by far the most stacked region. Teams in this region have a combined 31 national championships, so tons of blue bloods here. There are a couple teams, in my opinion, way underseeded in this region who I think could surprise. Now, I'm going to start by giving kudos to Kansas for making their 36th consecutive appearance. And ironically, they'll be playing Cal Baptist in their very first appearance ever. So I think that's interesting. And I'll give some Izzo and the Spartans some love here. They will be making their 28th consecutive appearance, which is also pretty impressive. But if I had to pick just one of these 3 definitively, I got to go with the Spartans. I got to go with what you said, Bill. They lost their first game of the Big Ten Conference Tournament. And guys, no team since the bracket expanded to 64 teams back in 1985, no team who has ever lost the first game of their conference tournament has subsequently won the entire thing.
Wow.
So now I know we're not talking about Michigan State winning it all here. I realize that,
Yeah.
but just an interesting
Cool
tidbit.
stat.
I just also don't love the Spartans' recent momentum. They've just gone 6-5 in their last 11 games. And I do think they'll get past North Dakota State, but I think Louisville or South Florida waiting for them in the second round, either of those is an
Be
upset
a
in
tough
the
game.
making. So,
Yeah.
and UConn, they've just looked very uneven lately. Something seems off. And while Duke could still easily win the whole thing, don't get me wrong. They're a great team. They're number one overall seed for a reason. But they do have a couple injuries, and those just are really concerning to me. And I think I just have this weird feeling Duke is not gonna go as far as most people think. So all right, Mike, what about this question? Which number 13 seed or higher has the best chance to pull off an upset?
Well, contrary to what you're saying, I don't think any in the East really have much of a shot. If
Wow.
I have to pick one, I guess I'll go with North Dakota State. I don't know that much about them, but I don't. That's just by, I would take. Well, Northern Iowa's a 12, and they're playing St. John, so that doesn't count either way. So I'll just take North Dakota State, but I don't see any upsets from those lowest
Okay.
seeds in the first round.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
Yeah, I got Cal Baptist. This is Mike said this in the opener, and I agree. Is Kansas even that good, or is it just that they're Kansas and it's Bill Self and it's they've got great players, but I mean I've watched them play a few times, and I know the Big 12 is super tough. I mean that is
Yeah.
super tough. So they're playing elite competition as well, but. I just if I'm reaching for one of these, I'm going Cal Baptist because I just haven't seen it from Kansas in the few games I've seen.
Yeah.
That's good.
So you might be a little surprised based on what I said to open here, but the answer is none. None of these teams are losing in the first round.
Right.
But I do think if one were to be done, I agree with you, Bill. I think it could be Cal Baptist over the Jayhawks. Kansas has just been so unpredictable. I do not like Darren Peterson. He seems to get to play when he wants. I feel like he's calling the shots there. It's just a prima donna type player. I can't stand those, and I don't like him, and I hope they lose. Cal Baptist, in their very first appearance ever, they'll be hungry. They'll be playing with nothing to lose. And they have a player named Dominique Daniels who scores more than 23 points per game. If he gets hot, has a special day, he could certainly carry this team.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think all the top teams are safe in this particular region for the first round.
I think Cal Baptist plus the points in the first half is a good play.
Oh,
it's going to be close at the half. Kansas might wear them down, but
all right. You know what? I'm writing that one down. Last time somebody gave me real time betting advice on the pod was Brandon Lewis about taking first quarter unders.
Oh, that's right.
I've done well on those. So Brandon, thank you. Mike, I'm gonna look at that. Cal Baptist,
I like where
first half.
Paston's head's at with that too, because if you think about the teams that are, the rotation's not going to be as deep. You know that their athleticism, they're not going to be able to hang for a full 40 minutes, but they'll go at it hard in that first 20, and if they get rolling, they can definitely keep the game close, I think. So yeah, I like where your head's at with that. Mike, what I really want to hear from you though is the exact score prediction bets at halftime.
Oh God, do you do that for college basketball games? You do exact score bet? Okay,
No,
I was gonna say.
Do they offer that? Is that a thing?
No, not usually. No.
I was gonna say that would have to be
Can you
odds would have
imagine?
to be
Oh
astronomical.
First quarter NBA and full game hockey. That's what I stick to.
Okay.
It's been working out very well the last week or so.
Man, I tell you what, if you guys don't know watching or listening to this guy, our guest, Mike Pason, this guy has a knack for nailing exact score prediction bets, and it's crazy some of the hits he's had.
Yeah, he gave some advice. I don't think you were on it. He subbed one time for you, and he gave some tips on what to think about and do with that.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
Hopefully the audience is cashing in. I like it. All right, what do you guys, Mike? What do you find to be the most interesting first round matchup in this region?
In the East, I'd have to go with the Louisville South Florida game. Neither team's going that far, probably losing the second game, but it just looks interesting. 6-11s are usually pretty good.
Yeah,
and I don't see a lot of other games that are that exciting. I mean, if Cal Baptist stays close, sure, that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go with Louisville. Let's see what they're all about.
Okay.
Bill?
Yeah, I went with 7-10 UCLA versus UCF. What I'm interested in here, guys, is Tyler Bilodeau. I don't know if you've watched UCLA at all this year, but their big man, really talented kid, good player, hurts his knee in the Big Ten tournament. If he comes back, I feel like it's a miracle. If he's able to contribute, it's a miracle. I don't know. He went down. He looked like he was in a lot of pain. All of a sudden now he's fine to go. He didn't play their next game, but and I feel like I can't lose in this one because Mick Cronin sucks. I hate that guy. So if they lose, great. And if they win, then it's great. It's a West Coast team in the Big Ten, and we all get to be happy out here on the left coast. So
Yeah, well, we all picked different games on this. I think there's some good, interesting games. I mean, they're obviously in every region, but I thought this region, there were a few that sparked my interest. For me, I'm actually going with the 8-9 matchup, Ohio State taking on TCU. I think if Ohio State wins that game, they could take down Duke in the second round. And it is hard for me to give the Buckeyes some props here, but they've won
no way.
4 of their last 5, including a win over Purdue in that span. They hung really tight with Michigan in the Big Ten quarterfinals before losing by 4. I absolutely love this player, Bruce Thornton. He's one of the best players in the whole tournament, one to certainly keep your eye on. And TCU, they've won 6 in a row, or they had won 6 in a row before losing by 5 to Kansas in the Big 12 tourney. I think this can be a really close game, which is probably why the line's only 2.5 points. And I'm really excited to see that one. I actually would be rooting for Ohio State, which is hard to admit, but I think they have a really good chance of beating Duke. I really do. I don't think TCU does as much, but
Brooke, can you please clip that last bit and then
yeah,
post
that's
it
gonna
all
be
over
oh
Yeah.
God.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, I can't believe you just said
on a
that.
live
Yeah.
mic. That's gonna be played forever.
Who is
Okay.
Who is this guy?
Mike, what about this one? Best first round bet in this region.
In this region, and I'm okay saying this on a mic, UCF plus 5.5 over UCLA.
I like
That's
it.
going to be a close game.
All right, I'm writing these
It's a-
down. I'm writing these
it's a
down because
close game.
I like that a
The
lot.
beauty of being a guest is next week I don't have to hear how wrong I was. So it's good.
Well, we'll just throw you under the bus if you
Yeah,
if you
I heard
missed.
that last time after our little contest. I did enjoy that.
I know.
Yeah, what was that final score? I don't know, -11 to 2. Brutal.
It's I mean, it's so hard. I feel like this is always such a tough round to predict. I feel so much better when it gets to the Sweet 16 usually in March Madness. I don't know if you guys are the same way, but anyway, I went with the game that Eric just mentioned. I really like the TCU and Ohio State game, except I'm gonna go TCU plus
You're going
2.5.
TCU plus the points. Okay.
I am, and Eric, here's why. And all of your reasons.
No, they
were solid.
could. And just to be clear, I'm not predicting that game. I just think it's the most interesting game. I hope Ohio State wins. I don't know that they will. Yeah, I don't know that they will.
I love, actually, your reasons I do think translate into if you're thinking about picking this game, but here's why I landed with TCU and take the couple points is because I agree with you. I think it's going to be a close game. I really like TCU's defense when I just looked quickly at the analytics there around their defense, and then they come out of the tough Big 12. And I just think you're going to see teams in this tournament, the Big 12 is going to rise to the top. And so, and I know I already just bashed Kansas earlier. But anyway, that's why I landed with TCU. I actually really like honorable mentions. I really like Mike's UCF pick as well.
Yeah. I'm going with South Florida plus 5.5 against Louisville. I actually think both of these teams are really good and either could make a deep run. But South Florida, they've won 11 games in a row, including, of course, winning the AAC conference tournament. Louisville's good, and I like their KenPom ratings, but they're just 4-4 in their last 8. And guys, listen to this little tidbit. 11 seeds win nearly 38% of the time. So, yeah, I like the Bulls here. The 12-5s and the 13-4s and all those get a lot more publicity because people don't think of 11-6 as a huge upset. But from a seed standpoint, they're lower. And I think sometimes psychologically, you're more drawn to taking the 6, but almost 40% of the time, the 11's winning the game outright. So I really like South Florida getting the points here.
Is it what's that line at? Was it 6?
5.5. 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
Yeah.
I love that.
All
I love
right.
your guys' all 3 of those games. I actually really like.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Finally, guys, for these regional, it is prediction time. Who makes the final four from this one? Mike.
All right. I'm going with St. John's.
Mm, love it.
Good coaching. They're on a roll, 19 of the last 20, and they're just feeling it right now. They play in front of huge crowds in a big arena, and they're ready for this. If they can get by Duke, then off they go, and they're in the Final Four.
What about
I
you,
wanted to
Bill?
pick that so bad because I hate Duke, but I just couldn't. I just can't get past. And I think we're all come up that what happens every year is we try to come up with reasons why we shouldn't pick Duke or whoever the big favorite is. I just think the injuries are a huge factor, but Duke plugs in the next best McDonald's All-American when guys are injured. And even though they had close games in the ACC tournament, I still think that actually helped get them even more ready for the tournament. And they've got the best player on the court. Boozer's going to just deliver the entire time, and his brother's okay, right? I mean, he's a good player too. So I'm give me Duke, give me Duke.
All right. Well, I already said I think this is the toughest bracket. You have Duke, UConn, Michigan State, Kansas, St. John's, Louisville, UCLA, Ohio State. All teams, in my opinion, with a chance, a real chance to go deep. And because of that, I think this region is going to be bonkers. And I think it's going to supply a surprise team to the Final Four. I am going with Mr. Paston. St. John's Red Storm to make the Final Four. They won the Big East regular season. They won the Big East Conference tournament. They are 17th in KenPom. They have won 19 of their last 20 games, and they have a seasoned, experienced, phenomenal coach who's been here before in Rick Pitino. They will beat Duke. I foresee some carnage on the other side of the bracket too. With, like I said, I think UConn and Michigan State lose earlier. The Red Storm, book it. They are headed to Indy.
You got it.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's now move on to the South region. And Mike, we'll start with you again on this one. Top three seeds here are Florida, Houston, and Illinois.
Well,
Any of these three do you think has the best chance, or who do you think of these three has the best chance to lose before the Sweet 16?
yeah, I think there's a big drop off between 2 and 3, so I'll say Illinois.
Oh.
They're gonna go a little challenged by Penn, and then the winner of that VCU North Carolina game, which is probably VCU, is going to take them out in the second round, and we're going to have another one of those exciting VCU runs, at least into the Sweet 16. So Houston and Florida are real solid teams. They're not losing the first two rounds, so by default, I have to take Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah.
Play it in a loop. That's exactly what I thought. Illinois number 3, no chance Florida or Houston loses. Exactly the same. Mike nailed it.
Yeah, well, make it a 3-pack. We can move along this one pretty quickly. They've lost 3 of their last 5 now, albeit to good teams in UCLA, Michigan, Wisconsin. They've also shown a penchant for giving up double-digit leads when they get up
Yeah.
early. I don't love that trait in the tournament, and I think VCU in the second round could be very tricky for them. All right, Mike, which 13 to 16 seed has the best chance for an upset here? Any?
Well, no, but if I have to pick, I'll be consistent with my last one, and I'll say Penn. They're hot. They have a coach with experience, way more experience than you would normally get from at a school in the Ivies. And why not? Why not keep the magic going? They had a nice little run at the end of the season and in the tournament. They upset Yale and in the Ivy finals. And those are the teams where, again, you're tied at the half, and they start feeling that pressure, and they won't make mistakes. So it could happen. So again, I don't see another decent choice. I'm going to go with Penn.
2-pat. Exactly the same. That's where I landed as well. I didn't have the knowledge that Mike has on the coach, but I just always love the way that the Ivy schools play when they get to the tournament. They never seem rattled. They might be outmatched, but they just always seem to battle their asses off. And I just could see them hanging around. And as Eric pointed out beautifully a second ago, Illinois has had a penchant for losing leads. So you could see a formula here where Penn could make it happen.
Yeah. I'm going to differ a little bit. I'm not sure this happens. Obviously, all these are upsets and who the heck knows, but I like Troy as having the best
That's my
chance here.
yes.
Nebraska has never won in the tournament ever, and they've had a great season, but they will be feeling the pressure. And they've cooled off a little since their hot start. They've gone just 5-4 in their last 9, and they've actually lost 2 of their last 3. And I will just say this, guys, as you can tell, what I've said so far, and as I will continue to make my cases, I'm a big momentum guy. When you come into the tournament, either winning the conference tournament or just on a streak overall where you've won 8 of 9 or 15 of 16 or stuff like that, that's important to me. And I tend to favor teams like that versus teams that I've kind of stumbled down the stretch where they've gone 5-6 or 5-4 or 7-6. So I'm a little nervous about Nebraska here. The line's manageable. I mean, it's only 12.5 points, which tells, again, I know we're not talking about just covering, talking about winning, but that tells me be careful if you're Nebraska. 12.5 isn't that many points to sneak up and win. Troy just won the Sun Belt Conference, and they could keep it going and surprise those Huskers. So watch out, Nebraska. Okay, most interesting matchup in this region. What do you got here, Mike?
I'm going North Carolina VCU. I think this is going to be a war, 1-point type game. Hopefully VCU pulls it out. North Carolina, without their stars, just not the same. They can't. They don't have a replacement. They can't do this. So I'm looking at a real good game there.
Yeah,
I love that. And I'm not a huge Tar Heels guy, but I'm bummed that kid got hurt. I watched a couple games. He was a really talented kid, worked his butt off. I loved how he played, and then that was a bummer to see him go down with an injury. So this first time, I guess Mike and I have different things in this bracket, but I went with Eric's pick here, Troy and Nebraska. And the reason being is Eric highlighted a couple things, but Nebraska never won a tournament game. So that's kind of interesting. But the second thing is Troy puts the ball in the basket. Like I haven't watched them play this year, but they had 5 games that I saw just in a quick glance where they scored over 90 points. They had 3 where they went over 100. So and again, I know they're playing inferior competition for some of those, but they've got a big man that's coming back as well. And so I had this as my 1B upset pick of the 13 plus
yeah.
seeds. So I'm interested to see them play just because I haven't had a chance to watch them. But man, they put the ball in the hoop. So they got a shot.
Yeah, I could see that certainly happening too. I'm gonna agree with Mike on this. I'm going with the VCU North Carolina matchup. UNC is just they're a completely different team without Cale Wilson, who was their leading scorer. He's now for the season. I absolutely love VCU. They just won the A10 championship. They've won 16 of 17 games. They're only 2.5-point underdogs. So I could easily see them being one of those 38%, 11 seeds to win, especially against the struggling Tar Heels squad. So I'm just really interested in how this plays out. So I will be glued to that one. Okay, best first round bet in this region, Mike.
First round, I'm going back to my first half thing, which I mentioned. Penn covering the first half against Illinois. Ivies do this consistently. They'll be even or up or down by 1 at the half, and then they usually lose by 20. But maybe not this year, and I think that's a team that might be able to hang in there. So I'll take first
So
half.
Penn plus
Penn first
whatever the
half.
points are.
Yep.
So the line, what's the actual line for the game? Because
I
it's just so.
don't know.
Let's see. I'm gonna pull it
I got
up
it here.
here. It's just
24 and a half.
yeah. So it's probably going to be about 12, 11, maybe. Sometimes it's less in the first half. This might be a 10 or 11. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. So I went with McNeese plus 11 and a half over Vanderbilt. And I know Vanderbilt's been hot. They've been on a little bit of a tear, but I just, for whatever reason, and again, I haven't watched McNeese closely. I haven't actually watched Vanderbilt that closely. Just, I know the level of competition is completely different. But for whatever reason, I just think this McNeese team, and doing in a brief little analysis, I think that they could keep this one close and cover that 11 and a half. They've got the athletes to hang with Vanderbilt, and I just see them maybe keeping this one close. So that was my pick.
This is either a really good sign for our listeners or a sign to our listeners that they need to go the exact opposite in everything we're saying, because we are agreeing a lot today, Bill. I am going with you. I really like McNeese here getting 12.5 points. They're 28-5. They're one of the best Ken Palm rated teams not in the Power Five. They're the 8th best non-Power 5 team in the tourney in terms of Ken Palm rankings. They just won their conference tourney. They've won 10 games in a row and 14 of their last 15. This is a very good team. Vandy's a good team too. They made it to the championship game of the SC. I get it. But getting this many points is very attractive to me. So we will take the Cowboys.
And when did Vandy become good at sports? I mean, they were always
Yeah,
last
exactly.
place in basketball and football in the SEC, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden now they're right there
Yeah.
competing.
Baseball.
Interesting.
That was the sport that they
Baseball.
were always good in.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
good at
you're right.
baseball.
It's a good call.
They're the smallest school. They're probably the best. Well, I'm not going to say
One
that.
of the best academic
Academics,
SEC
yeah.
schools, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I just glanced. I literally just happened to glance down because I had it at 12.5 because that's what it was. It's down to 11.5
That's
now.
what I saw it
So
at. Yeah,
the public is on it too. But
they agree with
okay,
it.
who do you like coming out of this region, Mike?
Florida, no doubt.
The
Florida.
Gators.
Yeah.
The
Two Pat,
Chomp.
no doubt. Florida roll.
I don't like it when you guys are wrong, but you are. I got to go with Houston here. They made the Natty last year. I just think they returned the season. Kelvin Sampson is a great coach. They are 5th in Ken Palm. They just lost a nail biter to Arizona in the Big 12 championship game. They've won 5 of their last 6. I'm just not sold on Florida from many of the other top teams here. Now, I do think if Illinois makes it to the Sweet 16, that could be just a strange matchup for the Cougars. But I think Houston is by far the best team in this region. So I am penning them in to the Final Four. All right, guys, let's now move on to the West region, where the top 3 seeds are Arizona, Purdue, and Gonzaga. Mike, any of these 3, who do you think, or of these 3, who do you think is most likely to not make the Sweet 16?
I have to go with Gonzaga. I don't think we ever know how good Gonzaga really is.
Yeah,
This
I
year,
know.
you just don't know. I mean, this year they're more defensive oriented than offensive oriented, I believe, but you never find out till the tournament. So they might be really good. They might not. We don't know. So I can't take Purdue or Arizona. They're more solid, and just because I know more about them, I have to, go with the team I don't know, which is Gonzaga.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Mike. Everything there. Gonzaga, I've watched more Gonzaga games than any other school besides UW this year. They're not very good. Now, that being said, the WCC is actually better than it's been in quite a while. And you saw that in terms of the seeding of the teams that made it in. So, you've got the St. Mary's, which always seems to be there, but Santa Clara is also really strong this year. So maybe that's a little bit better for Gonzaga, but I just could not see Arizona or Purdue losing before the Sweet 16. So it had to be Gonzaga here.
Yeah, again, this one's tough because I think all 3 are good, and it's a 3-pack. You guys know how much I love Mark Few and the Zags. I do think this is one of his best teams. The Braden Hufford injury concerns me a little bit. I'm not sure how serious that is. Assuming they get past Kennesaw State, which I think they will, I do actually like BYU, who could potentially be playing them in the second round. The Cougars have been inconsistent, and as you said, Mike, they might even be too high of a seed in some people's eyes, but they love that stud freshman, Debansa. AJ, he can just light up a game at any time, and that makes me nervous for the Zags. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they have a deep run. I'd love to see few go back to the Final Four. For 13 to 16 seeds, any of these have a chance for a first-round upset?
Probably not. And I would like to have taken Hawaii, but they're playing Arkansas, who I'm pretty high on. So I got to go to Kennesaw State. I said Gonzaga is vulnerable, so I'll be consistent. I don't know if that's against the rules here, but
No.
I'm taking them as having some wild outside chance. But I don't think any of these teams are going to win in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with Hawaii. Mike mentioned them. I actually like Arkansas. I think Coach Cal's done a good job with them. And I'll talk a little bit more about Coach Cal, I think, later in this. But Arkansas traveling to Portland. Hawaii gets to travel to Portland. So if you're going to look at any sort of advantage of where they were going to go land and play, Hawaii got it. They got a West Coast city, and they're playing well here at the end of the season. So is it going to happen? Probably not, but Hawaii would be my pick.
Yeah, it's not happening in this region, guys. It's just not. But if it did, it would have to be Hawaii over Arkansas. And that's only because there is no chance Gonzaga, Arizona, or Purdue are losing. I don't think Arkansas is either, as they just won the SEC tournament. And while Hawaii won the Big West tourney and they've won 6 of their last 7, and their KenPom isn't terrible for a Big West team, they're not going to knock off the Razorbacks. I see a lot of chalk advancing early in this region, for sure. Most interesting matchup in this one, Mike?
I'm going to go with BYU versus the Texas NC State winner. I think that winner can beat BYU. Like I said in the opening, BYU should be more like a 7 or 8, not a 6. So I think that's going to be a good, close, tough game. And one of those, as you said earlier, teams coming out of those playing games are no pushover. So I think that's a really good game. And I could see the winner, which I think will be Texas, but maybe not, of the NC State Texas game, giving BYU quite a fight right down to the last shot.
Yeah, totally agree, Mike. I actually went with Arkansas versus Hawaii, though. And the reason being is, and I mentioned it before, but put in my notes, death, taxes, and Coach Cal complaining. Like, those are the things that you can always land on every single time him and Mick Cronin, they're going to find something to complain about with whatever's going on around them. And it's annoying. But Arkansas going to Portland, I think, and then Hawaii getting to go to Portland, it just makes for a little extra drama, and I'm looking forward to seeing that game.
All right. I'm really excited for this Wisconsin High Point matchup. Nobody has heard of High Point, but this is a really good team. They've won 14 games in a row, 22 of their last 23. And yes, I get it. They play in a small conference. They can't compare to Wisconsin's schedule in the Big Ten, but there's a reason the Panthers are only single-digit underdogs here, 9.5 points. They are a good team. They're going to keep this close, I think. I think this is going to have everybody watching toward the end of the game. This is Wisconsin's highest scoring team since 1971. So they are explosive, and they probably will ultimately win this game. And don't forget, they're only one of 3 teams to beat Michigan this year. They almost beat them again in the Big Ten semis, falling just short after a 3-pointer by the Wolverines at the buzzer. This is going to be a fun game to watch, and just really excited. I think Wisconsin, I do think it's going to be close. I think Wisconsin wins this game, and I think they could be one to keep an eye on. They could be dangerous in this region. All right. Best first round bet in this region, Mike?
I love Utah State -2.5 over Villanova. Just Villanova's not very good. And yes, a good coaching job with not the greatest talent. Utah State's a solid team, and I just look for them to, have a 7-8 point win. So I like Utah State a lot.
I love it. I continue to agree with Mike. I went with a different game for a different reason, but if you swap jerseys on the kids at Utah State and Villanova, this would be completely different. There's no reason that Utah State should be a 9 seed and Villanova an 8 seed. And then look at the kids on Utah State. That's a really talented team. And if they were swapped, they would not be 1.5 point favorites. They would be like 5.5 at least point favorites in this game. So I love where Mike's head's at with that one. But I went with a different game, and that's because I wanted to take a second to promote something real quick, Bierman. Craig Fallon's been working behind the scenes, and Eric mentioned this, gave him a shout out earlier in the podcast, but he's been working on developing our own prediction engine model called Sandman Edge. And we're going to be pumping this thing out there when we get it a little bit more baked. And we're going to be sending Mike, you're going to get a code later today for you to check it out, and some of the other folks that have been so great to us over the years. But you guys, when I tell you this model has been performing very well, that's understating. It's been crazy how good and how we've improved it over the course of the past few weeks and the past couple months. And so I just wanted to take a minute. We're going to put Sandman Edge on, put it on blast a little bit here for you all, but I'm just going to pick the game that Sandman Edge liked the most in this region. Okay, so we're gonna just make this the first official Sandman Edge pick.
I love it.
And that is Kennesaw State plus 20.5 covering against the Zags. Okay, and throughout the season, if you just look at some of they kept it close versus Bama, losing by 11 points, and they put the ball in the hoop. So while Gonzaga D's, as Mike also said earlier, they're a good defensive team this year. I just love the fact that this team's going to score enough to keep that game within 20 points, and Sandman Edge was all over this game. So there's
Yeah,
the first official pick. Let's see how it
that's
does.
huge. I know we haven't we're not ready yet to roll it out to the masses, but it's coming and something we're very proud of. And to your point, Craig has done a great job with behind the scenes and plugging in all the analytics and getting this to be a pretty damn good predictive model. And I'm really excited as the future unfolds with
10,
that as well.
10-1 in the NBA in my last 11 daily picks. So just picking the best game of the day, 10-1 in the
Wow,
NBA.
yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. We're on a roll. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
So again, I'm gonna agree with Mike on this one. I absolutely love Utah State minus two and
Oh,
a half
me
against
too.
Villanova. Being a Xavier guy, I follow the Big East a lot. And Nova, they're just off
Yeah.
this year. They've went 3-3 in their last six. They lost by 14 to a bad Georgetown Hoyas team in the Big East quarterfinals. Utah State, on the other hand, just won their conference tournament, so they got plenty of momentum. They're actually 3 spots better in Ken Palm than Nova. Nova has the name, similar to what you said, Bill. Nova has the name, but frankly, the Aggies are the better team here,
Yeah.
led by MJ Collins and Mason Fulsland. And Nova's Matt Hodge being out is a significant loss. In my opinion, 2.5 points isn't nearly enough. I think Utah State wins this one comfortably.
Yeah.
Who do you have coming out of this region, Mike?
All right, coming out of this region, I've got Purdue. I think, Arizona's a really, really good team. Teams from the West don't usually win the tournament, don't necessarily even make the Final Four. Purdue's on a roll, going with Eric's theory here. They look good. They were real slumped there for a month in the middle of the season.
They sure
But
were. Yep.
this guy, Smith, this point guard,
Oh,
man, he
so good.
shakes up a game. He's unbelievable. And he's on a roll. The team's on a roll. They always have the big men doing the right things, and I'm going to go with Purdue into the Final Four.
I
But
love it.
that game against Arizona is going to be the game of the tournament. Purdue, Arizona, that could be like double overtime, unbelievable finish type game. That's the one to watch.
Yeah. I mean, just double down on what Mike said. I mean, I'm going with Arizona. It's probably my Pac-12 bias coming into play a little bit. Former Pac-12, of course. But I believe I saw that Arizona had not won a national championship since 1997.
And that was the last team west of the Mississippi to win one.
And that's
well.
insane.
Or actually, that's not true. West of the Mississippi, because I think Baylor's west of the Mississippi now. But they're the last team in the west part of
in
the
the West.
country.
That's so crazy to me. But this team is so good, you guys. And Eric's heard me touting them on the pod for a long time. This year, I am such a Tommy Floyd guy. Like when he was going to leave Gonzaga, because Mark Few will never leave until he dies. Then I just was like, please, UW, back up the Brinks truck for this guy and pay him whatever he wants, because he is going to bring the right players, the right culture, everything to a program. And you've seen him revive Arizona in that way. I love how they play. They've got great players. I love the coaching, as I just said. I think Arizona is the team. I do love Purdue as well, Mike. But I really believe that Arizona is the team that makes it out of the West.
Yeah, this is tough because I do think it's going to be chalky on this one, and it boils down to Arizona or Purdue. I got to go with the Boilers. This is a seasoned team led by veterans Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. They started off the season slow, but just won the Big Ten tourney. They handed Michigan their biggest loss of the season, beating them by 8. Arizona's really good. They could prove me wrong here. There's just something, I'm the opposite of Bill. I just have not been sold on them all year long. I think they stumble somewhere. But you're right, Mike. That Purdue Arizona game in the Elite Eight will be one for the ages.
Epic.
Can't wait.
Purdue returns four starters. which you never see anymore from a top team.
Yeah.
I know.
They
I
get
love
just
that.
four
I know.
starters.
Well, and they were the preseason number 1 too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that they just started slow, but doesn't matter how you start. And I mean, Michigan is a great team, and they beat them on a neutral floor by 8 points. They're good.
They're
They're
good.
I think they might have the best player in the land, boys. I think
with
Braden
Braden
Smith
Smith.
is
Yeah,
probably the best college basketball player this
he's
year.
in the
Yeah.
conversation.
As far
for
as
sure.
controlling a game, he is. Yeah.
He is just
Yeah.
phenomenal. Love that kid.
He's fun. Yeah. All right, guys, we are to the last region. Let's head to the Midwest, where the top 3 seeds are Michigan, Iowa State, and Virginia. Which of these have the best chance to get upset before the second weekend, Mike?
Well, tough one. It's not Michigan, I'll tell you that. So
No.
that leaves me 2 choices, and I'm going to go with Virginia. I mean, we've seen in the past Virginia has the ability to lose the first round and win the national championship in 2 seasons.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how good they are. I was hedging only because I'm not sure who's going to beat them from the teams that are lined up there.
Tennessee?
Yeah, could be. So we'll go with Virginia in this one. That's a tough call.
Or Miami of Ohio for Bierman.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sure.
While I really don't like any of these teams to lose, I'm going to be a little contrarian here and just go with Iowa State. And I'm just going to throw this out there, not because I really think that they're going to lose, but I really like Santa Clara. I like how they play. It'd
Yep.
be a cool story. I would love to see them beat Kentucky in the first round, because who wants to root for Kentucky? And so give me Santa Clara in an upset. Don't really think it's going to happen, but I'm going to go with I'm going to stay.
Yeah, for me, this one was pretty easy. It's Virginia. They
Yeah,
don't make it
I
to
agree.
Sweet 16. I really like whoever comes out of that Tennessee, SMU, Miami game to give Virginia a big scare and win that game. All right. Tennessee is really good, guys. I think they might be one of the most underseeded teams at 6. I do think they're pretty good. I know the stat I gave about the 11th seed coming out of the Wednesday night game. I did not sure that's going to come to fruition this year. But whoever wins that game, I think, can match up with Virginia. Fine. They've had a nice underrated season. They sit at 29-5. They have a couple strange losses, especially against Butler, but even Vatek's not very good. They lost to both those teams. All 3 of these teams on paper should make the second weekend, but to me, UVA is the most vulnerable by a lot of this group, and I think they get upset. All right, 13-16 seed, possibly to win in the first round. Anybody?
Hofstra, I guess. Alabama, I'm not sure what to make of them. They do score a lot, but if you can run, I did see Hofstra play earlier in the year, and I was impressed, but they were playing Pitt, who is terrible. So I'll go with Hofstra. Again, I don't know that we're getting any wins from a 13-16 in the first round at all.
I see a lot of chalk this year as well, Mike. But I'm gonna also double down on Hofstra, but I'm gonna throw in, you didn't mention, but there's some big news out there. I don't know if you heard it, but their best player just got
second
arrested.
best player.
second
He's
best
their
player.
second best. Yeah,
He got
He's a
arrested.
good player. He is a good player. Yeah.
Aiden Holloway.
Aiden Holloway just got arrested for felony pot conviction. I mean, they're plus 11.5. Maybe it could happen. I doubt it's going to, but that would be my pick.
It's absolutely Hofstra. They are going to absolutely scare Alabama and quite possibly win that game. It's not as I mentioned earlier, it's not a good sign when you don't win at least one game in your conference tourney. And Alabama is another one who did not win their first game of the SEC tournament. The Tide have lost 2 of their last 3. They definitely have some flaws. As you just mentioned, their second leading scorer, Aiden Holloway, was just suspended indefinitely due to drug charges, so he won't be on the court. That's a big loss for them, talent-wise. Hofstra, on the other hand, they've won 7 in a row, 11 of their last 12. Their Ken Palm's not bad for a Colonial Athletic Conference school. They sit at 87, above High Point, who I love, and my Miami Redhawks. So, yeah, I like the pride to give the Crips Tide everything they can handle in this one. Most interesting matchup, Mike?
I'm going Texas Tech and Akron. I think that's a good game. Tech, they're all right, but again, then we got a 12-5, and Akron's one of those mid-majors that from that conference and those teams, they always bring it. They give you everything they got, and I think that's going to be a close game. Fun to watch.
Yep. I went with most interesting game. I mentioned it. Another shout out for Edge. Santa Clara versus Kentucky for me. Look, Herb Sendek, I watched the guy coach Arizona State for a long, long time in the Pac-12. The guy can coach. Can
Do
flat
you
out.
know where he coached before Arizona State?
No, remind me.
Miami of Ohio.
Oh,
Oh.
it was right. Is that right? Okay, I probably should have guessed
Yeah,
that.
he was there.
Yeah.
He was there when I was there. He
Okay.
was there when I was there.
Nice.
He took him to the.
Was that Wally
He took
Zerbiak
him.
area?
No,
Or-
no. I think he left before Zerbiak, but they upset Arizona in the first round one year, I think in '95 with Sendek as coach, and I think he left right after that. Charlie Coles, I think, was the coach when Wally was
Zerbiak
there.
was there when he lit up
Yeah.
the Huskies for 40 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. What I love about Santa Clara, and I already mentioned it, they're really long and athletic, you guys. This does not look like a WCC team. If you haven't watched these guys play, they're fun. And they're gonna give these guys a run. And I know it's a little bit of my heart here, hoping Kentucky goes down. But I think this game's gonna be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, for me, I'm agreeing with Mike again. I'm going to go Texas Tech Akron. Tech had a strong season, but they lost their best player to injury, JT Toppin. They've lost 3 straight games without him. The Red Raiders now face a plucky Akron Zips team who just became the first MAC team in history to win 3 straight MAC conference tournaments. This is only a 7.5 point line, and I'm real curious to see how this game goes down. So go MAC. And then best bet in this region, Mike?
I'm going with Georgia -2.5 over St. Louis. It's not the same St. Louis team we saw a month or two ago. Not that I love Georgia, but I just think they're going to wear them out a little bit, and 2.5 isn't enough. Those are the games where they're close, and then they foul them at the end. They end up winning by 6 or 7. So I'll take Georgia. I think St. Louis has sort of run out of gas.
All right, you guys have heard this from me before, but I think it's similar to Mike's Utah State pick. I think Santa Clara is a better team than Kentucky, and they're getting 3.5 points. I just don't see it. I don't get it. Again, a lot of people have not watched the WCC. They haven't watched Santa Clara. I think they're going to give Kentucky everything that they want in this game. Take the 3.5 points all day.
So I really like the Zips plus 7.5 for all the reasons I say above, but I'll give another one here. And Bill, we might need to talk about a side bet. Santa Clara, they're such a cute little story. Oh, they make it back to the big dance for the first time in 30 years. Steve Nash last played for them when they made it. So sweet, so cute. They have no freaking shot against Kentucky. 3.5 points. Oh my God, double it, and I'd still take Kentucky. In St. Louis, Wildcat fans travel unlike any other. That place will be nothing but blue and white, very loud. You're right. This is not a typical blue blood type UK squad, but they still have plenty of talent. They're SEC tested. They have a nice Ken Palm rating. Bank it. I
Wow.
can't
We got
say
our
enough.
first
Yeah,
opposite pick of the day, I think.
Yeah.
that's exciting. That's all right. I'm excited for that game
We'll
now.
have that's now really interesting to watch. We got Bierman Sanders.
All right. Mike, who you got coming out of this one?
This was the toughest one for me. Michigan's solid, but I'm going to go with the Iowa State. I think they're just the team that's a little bit under the radar. I mean, I know they're a 2 seed, which is strong, but I'm not hearing any more talk about them recently. They were a hot team and the talk of the town, and now they've been quiet, but they're still winning. They're still a real good team. The Cyclones, and based on your last discussion with Kentucky and Santa Clara, whoever wins that, I think they can take them. And then who do you have? Virginia, maybe Tennessee, maybe. It's just not a hard road, and this may be the easiest conference. Michigan also probably doesn't have too tough a road, but when they meet up, I just feel like a slight upset's waiting for us with Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny to say that I said these guys could be my top 3 seed to go down before the Sweet 16, but I'm going Iowa State as well. I'm actually, Bierman may or may not believe me on this, but I'm rooting for him and Michigan just cause, just as a buddy. But Iowa State, I just think all the reasons Mike just highlighted. I love how they play defense. I love that they're a guard-driven team in the tournament. You see this formula work well. They played in the super tough conference, so they're going to come in tested. So did Michigan, of course, for all those same similar reasons. But I'm going to go Iowa State in hopes that the Sanders jinx will help Bierman get his team to the Final Four.
Yeah. So one thing I pride myself on this pod and with all the articles I write and all my picks is I really do not make homer picks. I try and look at everything objectively and try to take my heart out of it. So this is not a homer pick. This is truly a logic pick. I have been touting Michigan all season long. And surprisingly, I just wasn't expecting them to be this good. But the more I watch them and dig deep into them, they are they might be the best Michigan squad I've ever seen, to be honest. I mean, this is a really good team. I see them cruising through this. I actually think this is the easiest of all the regions. Michigan's only lost 3 games this season, all the tourney teams, Wisconsin, Duke, and most recently Purdue. Now, I do think the LJ Cason injury affects them a little bit, backup guard, but they haven't lost a true road game all season. In fact, they're the first Big Ten team in 50 years since Indiana went undefeated in 1976. They're the first Big Ten team in 50 years to go undefeated on the road in conference. So that bodes well for a tournament like this. They also have a lot of double-digit wins. They typically can just overpower opponents. They have so many weapons. Jackson Lundeberg is the best player in the Big Ten, one of the best in the nation. I love Dusty May. This team is built for this tournament. They will be in the Final Four. Now, I will say the Iowa State-Michigan game in the Elite Eight will be a fun one to watch. And I do think Iowa State gets the Elite Eight. I think they're very good. And it scares me a little bit, but I just think Michigan is the better team.
Well, maybe Santa Clara will beat them before that.
That's right. Thank you for that.
All right. So now that we've got our Final Four matchups, let's see who we have winning it all. So East versus South. So this would be St. John's versus Florida for you, Mike.
I'm riding with Florida. I love St. John's. I love the momentum, but Florida is a real solid team, and I'm going to go with Florida.
Okay. Bill, this would be Duke versus Florida for you.
Yeah, I hate having all the chalk, but give me Duke. I just think I always try to find a reason to not like them and not pick them, and they're just an awesome team this year, so they're going to get there.
Yeah.
I wanted
so for me, it's St. John's versus Houston. Yeah, I gotta go Houston all the way. They're in my mind one of the best teams in the country, and I guess this is as good as any to lay this out. I've been hinting at it, been talking about KenPom ratings a lot today. I put a lot of stock in momentum, as I mentioned. Obviously, a lot of stock in health, making sure they have other players that have gotten up to this point on the court during the tournament. But I also put a lot of stock in the KenPom ratings, especially their offensive and defensive efficiency ratings. In fact, I mentioned this last year. And there's different variations of this. Some will look at top 30 offensive efficiency and top 30 defensive efficiency. There's different variances. I am looking at top 25 offensive efficiency KenPom, top 40 defensive efficiency. When you look at that stat, since KenPom was launched in 1998, every single national champion can check the box in those two things, okay? There are only 11 teams that meet that criteria. Most aren't going to surprise you. I think a few might be. So let's go through those right now. Duke, Michigan, Arizona, Florida, all 4 number 1 seeds. Houston and Iowa State, UConn as well. And then you got Michigan State, Gonzaga, and these 2 were surprising to me. Virginia and Tennessee, guys. Tennessee. So just
they're
another
the longest,
reason to keep an eye out. Yeah.
The longest seed.
That's good. That's good information.
Yeah, so I do think I think Houston advances here. I think they have a real chance to cut down the Nets. We'll get to that in just a minute, but I'm gonna take Houston out of that matchup. So now let's move on to the West versus Midwest. And Mike, you've got Purdue versus Iowa
Yeah.
State.
One thing on Bill's Duke pick, I'm not down on Duke. I just think, they had 5 freshmen. Now they're deeper into 7. I think John Shire, no one's become a top 5 coach as fast as he has. I mean,
Yeah,
that
he's a
that
great
guy
coach.
is
Yeah.
amazing at
He really
coaching.
is.
He really keeps that team together. So I as much as I'm not picking them, I wouldn't count them out. I just like St. John's a lot. All right, my Purdue or Iowa State, or not Michigan. I'm going to go with Purdue. I just again, they've put it all together. They were the preseason number 1, as you pointed out, and as long as Smith is on the court, they're going to be tough to beat. So Painter's a nice coach too, and they always manage the lane. So now that they have the guard and the lane, I'm gonna put Purdue in the
All right.
finals.
All
Yeah.
right. You got Florida versus Purdue. We'll come back for your champion in a second. You've got Arizona versus Iowa State, Bill.
Yep, Arizona. Not a surprise to anyone.
No.
Love this team. Loved them all season. Love Tommy Floyd. That's my pick.
Okay. Well, I'll stick with the no surprise here. I've got Purdue versus Michigan, and I will go with Michigan winning that one. Okay. So, final game for you, Mike, is Florida versus Purdue. Who you got
Re-
winning it all?
Repeat champ Florida.
Wow.
They did it in
All
06,
right.
07. They're going to do it again in 25, 26. Florida, right?
Wow.
National champs
All
again.
right. All right. Interesting. Okay. What about you, Bill? Duke and Arizona.
Speaking of good young coaches, too, how about Florida? Right? I mean, and John Shire, I just never was a Coach K guy, and I'm not exactly even sure why. My dad didn't like him. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But John Shire has done a great job. I'm going Arizona. I think that they're going to break the curse of the West Coast teams to win it all and cut down the nets.
Yeah.
Arizona Wildcats.
And I've got Houston versus Michigan, which I think will be a great game. Romeo Robinson, Glenn Rice. Where are you, boys? Come on back. Let's celebrate together. Michigan Wolverines, first national title in basketball since 1989. Michigan 84, Houston 81.
Wow.
Gonna be
That'd be a
close,
great
high
national
scoring game.
championship game.
Do you think there's any
Yeah.
bias in that I took the most Eastern team, Eric took the Midwestern team, and Bill took the Western team?
No,
I mean, no, none of that.
just
Not who we
pure
get on
coincidence.
TV.
Pure
All right,
coincidence.
No.
pure coincidence.
That's
East
right.
to
Wow.
West.
I actually
Predictable.
think last year I picked Michigan to lose their first round game, and they ended up going pretty well.
They went deep.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
just
anyway,
love Dusty May, too.
I love
Oh,
Dusty May.
fabulous.
love
I
the
mean, you
guy.
talk about young coach. Yeah, there's a lot of good. You are right. John Shire he's fantastic. Who is the coach of Florida? Why can't I think of his name?
Golden. Todd
Yes.
Golden.
Oh, Todd Golden. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun. We talked a lot about the tournament. I think we broke it down really good. Love a lot of your guys' insights and tidbits. And I'm gonna like some of these bets. I hate Bill Santa Clara. That might be the worst.
Yeah, we got to come up
choice
with
I've
a
ever
side
heard,
bet,
but
Bierman.
I know, dude. I know. Let's talk about that offline. When is that game? That's Friday?
I don't
think,
know,
right?
actually.
I
Yeah.
don't know either. But seriously, let's bet something. We should bet something.
It is
that we
Friday. You're
can-
right. Yep.
All right. Let's bet something for Friday or for Vegas. Like, let's make a
Yeah.
Vegas bet.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. I don't know if that's
Okay.
my favorite pick, but it just happened to be the one that you and I differ on. So we should just have some fun
Yeah.
with it.
yeah. No, I'll think of something. All right. So, Bill, you want to talk about pools?
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, as people are getting a chance to, listen or watch this, thanks for your support, obviously, over the first 82 episodes of what we've done with the podcast. This is a monumental week, as Eric mentioned, and we've launched this new platform out there. We've got commissioner created contests. And so really what I would just love to ask as a favor, I suppose, to you guys, our most loyal supporters, is two things. One, please go set up a contest. You can do it. Everyone can do it as a commissioner. We will charge, Sandman Sports will charge a small user fee for the platform fee or the hosting fee, we call it. But we would love for you to test that out, give it a try, even if you just want to invite your family and just try it out. Or if you want to do something in the office or you have a big group of golf buddies or whatever it is, we'd love for you to try. There's a bunch of different options for you to check out. So we'd love for you to do that. And then, as Eric mentioned, please provide all feedback that you think of as you both create the contest, as the contest is still going throughout March Madness. Anything that you see that you feel like could be an improvement, that's huge for us to build into our product roadmap and start thinking about how we can improve the game. So that's my first request. Second request is if you actually have played in games with us before, Sandman Nation contests, we would love for you to reach out directly to me and I'll point you in the right direction for that. And we have all the usual suspects, right? We have the brackets, we have squares, which is so popular. We have Survivor, we have Pick Six, we have the 12 spot. So we've got a whole bunch of different options and some of the fan faves out there for March Madness. So please do your best to support us through this week. It would mean the world to us. And in addition, over the course of the tournament, providing feedback. And Eric, what do you think? I'd say send it to info@sandmansports.com.
Yeah, info@sandmansports.com.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Well, guys, we have come to the end of the show today. Mr. Paston, as always, so good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Mike.
filling
Thanks
in
for having
again.
me.
We truly appreciate it, brother. Sandman, you are simply the best, man. Always so much fun doing this with you each and every week. Thank you as well. Sir, I wish we could keep it going today, but for now, it is sadly time to exit Sandman Sports. But don't fret, guys. It is one of the greatest weeks of the sports year. Get those brackets filled out, find a comfy spot to watch all those games with beverage in hand, and enjoy, everyone. Have a great weekend, Sandman Nation. Peace out and take care.
Good luck, everybody, and go Broncos.